Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're here reacting and having a discussion from a video from Mint Skull. Love to see it. It says Springtrap is the best ranged killer in-depth review. So I wanted to give my thoughts on Springtrap. So I wanted to at least bring out a video where I can kind of like see more in-depth a description about everything, and then I can kind of give you guys like my thoughts on it. And we'll see how we go about it. You know what I mean? I know some people were wondering about it, so I thought I would at least make a video dedicated to it, so we can talk about it. Let's get into it.
Voiced by PJ Haywood, the same person who gave him the voice in Sister Location, Pizzeria Simulator, and Ultimate Custom Night. In terms of visual design,
I will say that one thing right off the bat, I'm really glad to see that we literally got the voice actor for the character. This is one of the things that we want when it comes down to new killers that come into the game, and especially as somebody who knows basically close to nothing about FNaF or anything like that, it is good to see that there at least is an accurate representation of it, especially because all my licenses that I do enjoy, I think the 3 that I can think of didn't even get voice lines. So it's good to see that at least with later releases, we do get some.
design, he is absolutely fantastic in my opinion, and seeing him actually be in the game is really crazy. He's also the first killer to have 2 intros instead of 1, as sometimes he appears from the right, and other times he appears from the left. We will talk more about this in my future video talking about fun facts for this character. This is not the only version of Springtrap that we are getting. In the PTB, we have the Prestige outfit only, but once his chapter releases, Springtrap will get 4 cosmetics, 2 of them being
I do kind of like the Prestige outfit, although I think that it doesn't look as really unique. It kind of looks like they kind of sprayed him a little bit, but it didn't really look like he got like a bunch of blood, I guess you could say. Which it might be my only dislike, I would say, so far, is that I wish that it had a little bit more detailing when it came down to the Prestige design, but that's just sort of me in my opinion, because I have seen other characters that have a little bit more details and a little bit more to show. So that's sort of my perspective on it. But you can guys let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think that it's any good or not?
legendary. Yellow Rabbit from the FNaF movie, Glitch Trap from Help Wanted, and 2 more very rare skins that are part of FNaF AR. Considering how FNaF AR has some other cosmetics, I am sure we will be.
The skins look pretty good too. I do like I don't really know anything about these skins or anything,
Legendary.
but I will say though that the ones I do like is obviously we have Matthew Lillard from the movie role. And this rabbit outfit looks pretty cool too. I like this one. It looks pretty cool. And I probably would use this one. And this one's okay. I wouldn't say it would be one I would use personally. And then this one I probably wouldn't really use much either. But it is kind of cool. It's like a clown version or something. It's kind of cool. You know, I like it.
AR. Considering how FNaF AR has some other cosmetics, I am sure we will be getting more of them in the future. So let's talk about the power of Springtrap, and like I said, it is a very complex killer power. Springtrap is a 4.4 movement speed range killer with a...
So from what I've heard, I do know that he moves at 4.4 movement speed, and actually his movement speed increases to 4.6 when he throws his hatchet, if I'm not mistaken, or his axe or whatever. And making him 24 meters is pretty nice. I do think that a lot more killers that do move slower should have a lower terror radius. I do think that there are, like, I think Trapper is a good example of a character that could do well with a lower terror radius just in general. Like, I think that the lower tiers should be able to have a lower base terror radius because they already move so slowly. It at least gives them a chance, you know what I mean, that they may be able to close a little bit more distance than they probably would be able to, which I think would be a nice change. Very small change, but it could make the difference. And maybe it could help. You never know.
24 meters terror radius. His power is divided in 2 parts. So let's first talk about the range projectile attack first. First of all, Springtrap can pull out a fire axe to use as a ranged attack, and holding it will charge the axe trajectory to reach further, like the Huntress. However, there is no visual sound with it, so hopefully they fix this on release. You can cancel this attack by letting go, which is different from the Huntress where you have to click to cancel. The cooldown for this is very little, so you can fake and not lose as much distance compared to other ranged killers. Clicking M1 will throw the axe forward in a very heavy arc, and I mean this. This projectile is by far the ranged attack with the heaviest trajectory in the game, much more than the UVX of the Unknown. The axe also has a very precise hitbox, so you can hit survivors if you arc it correctly, and it feels insanely satisfying.
It definitely looks very good. I think that for anybody who maybe plays Huntress might be able to pick this up and probably have a good time with it. As somebody who doesn't really play much Huntress at all, I think it would be very interesting to kind of step into the shoes of that. But also have other powers that are a little bit more, for my style of play at least. And I do like the fact that I just like the idea that the hatchet does have a little bit of some of a skill ceiling. It definitely looks like it'd be very interesting. And if you dedicate enough time to it, I think you can really be able to land some really good hits. And it's very nice, I will say. I like it a lot. I like the different features it has. And I do think, as much as people may disagree, I do think that it is very well designed. I would say very balanced.
If you miss the hatchet, it will stay stuck into whatever you hit with it, and it will create a small zone where any survivor coming in contact with it will be revealed by Killer Instinct. This can be used in order to find survivors that are hiding, and you can also leave the hatchet placed in a specific spot in order to get tracking, for example in a generator or in a choke point, in order to know when survivors walk over it. After a short cooldown, the animatronic can recall the axe back to his inventory. Anytime the fire axe is not with you, you get 4.6 movement speed, so you move at normal killer speed. If you hit a survivor that is injured, they get downed. But if you hit a survivor that is healthy, the axe will stay lodged on them, giving them the broken status effect until they remove it from themselves. Survivors can remove the axe from it in the same way as it works with twins, or Springtrap can recall the axe just like when you miss. When you come very close to a survivor that has an axe on the back, you can actually perform a jump scare attack, removing the axe from their back and making a special animation that will automatically make you carry them in your shoulder. However, be careful because survivors can still flashlight save you. The interesting part about his axe is how it interacts with add-ons and also how it works. This axe is extremely heavy, allowing you to hit survivors in a very sharp arc. If you aim it right, you can aim over things, and the best of the best can hit survivors through walls, which would only be possible with specific Unknown setups and with a very uncharged Huntress hatchet. This mechanic makes the fire axe impossible to snipe survivors with from afar.
So I will say I like the idea that Springtrap is kind of able to sort of go for cool shots, kind of like Unknown and kind of like Huntress, but like definitely very different. I do like that quite a bit, and I do like that a lot. You know, it feels like if you dedicate enough time to it, you know, you're at least going to be rewarded in some kind of way, and it's very flashy, which we know that with Death Singer as an example, You know, he was able to shoot through different cracks in the walls and stuff like that, and different gaps, and be able to land the shot. And most of the time, it really didn't matter, but it was very flashy, and we liked that quite a bit about v.h.s.x, even though he's very weak. And you know, they kept patching up every single angle he had. You know, there's a lot of invisible walls now, so it's very unfortunate. You know, another nerf to the to the killer side, unfortunately, but you know, it's to be expected. You know, because they don't ever want to give buffs, it seems like. But yeah, it definitely seems like it appeals to me. It definitely seems like it's something I could probably get into, just trying out different angles, trying out different things, and trying to, you know, go for different stuff like that without feeling like you have to without feeling like it requires you to have like 3 or 4 or 5 different shots before it actually does anything. Because my biggest issue with Unknown was definitely that, which was just the fact that just constantly have to keep shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting just so you can at least have like just to deal some damage, and it takes like 20 years just to recharge it, and then it gets revealed again, and then you got to shoot it again, and then you get revealed again, and then you got to shoot it again or something. It just gets exhausting, you know. And maybe people enjoy that, and people can really get used to it and have fun with it, but as somebody getting into the killer, I just didn't really like that aspect. I didn't really enjoy that.
So it has basically no range. However, since you can hit survivors through walls, it just makes this power extremely interesting for players that want to master the animatronic. With enough playtime, Springtrap could aim an axe in order to hit survivors that are about to vault a pallet or a window. The lineups you can have with this power are absolutely insane, and in the PTB it was a bit laggy, so I am sure that once this killer releases to live, it's going to feel much smoother overall. For that reason, I think Springtrap is going to be one of the killers with the highest skill ceiling in the game. I cannot wait to see what clips the players can do with this killer once he releases. The second aspect of his power are the doors, which 7 will spawn on all maps when you play against Springtrap. Both the killer as well as the survivors can interact with it. As a survivor, you can come to the door in order to access the camera system. In this mode, you can choose all 7 cameras in order to find where Springtrap is, and if you find him, you can start looking at him in order to reveal his position to everyone in the map. As Springtrap, you can hit the doors with the axe in order to temporarily remove the cameras from working. Survivors can also use the door.
That is a very interesting aspect that I really didn't think would be in the game, but they found a way to make the camera thing work. I did not think that would be the case. And I gotta say it's interesting. I have to say, very interesting. It's quite cool, to say the least, honestly. And I like it, you know what I mean? It sucks to a degree, but it's not that bad because you are able to try to find them when you're like traveling through the doors to try to see if you can grab them out of the security room. And I like that too. That's really cool. At least there's like some kind of counterplay, because I know that there's a lot of killers that do have counterplay that really just sucks. Like a good example that comes to mind is like Singularity. To me, the EMP thing when he first released just really sucked. And Ghostface is another example, and even Unknown, I think, that where their counters just suck. Like I really hate that they just stare at you and that's it. Like you just lose your power forever. It's like pretty much, you know, those cooldowns are way too long. But yeah.
Doors to traverse around the map. When inside the cameras, you can choose a door in order to exit through it. By doing so, you will enter the security office for a short time, and then leave through the other door. However, if Springtrap is there, he will instantly catch you and carry you to the hook. And this is because Springtrap can also enter the security office by the same means. By interacting with a door, you will enter this ethereal place where you can choose which door you want to spawn in, kinda like the dredge. This will play a short animation and you will exit through it, giving you undetectable for quite some time. Survivors will have a limited power supply for the door.
The only thing is, I know that survivors are going to complain and complain and complain, and then we're gonna have a reduced... I already know they're gonna somehow nerf Springtrap even more. Somehow. you know, we know it's coming, and they're gonna be like, oh, the undetectable's too long, so the undetectable will last like 5 seconds or something. Or oh, you can hit people through gas or something, so they're gonna change that. And then they're going to, oh, he runs too fast through the doors, so we're gonna slow that down too, or something. Or they're gonna make it even harder, even easier to reveal him on the cameras or something. Which is just a sad reality. I hate to be, you know, negative about it, but I just know it's coming. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anytime at least at this current moment, from what I've seen, if we ever get anything that looks cool, we may like, we just expect that to get changed immediately on the killer side only. Like, I swear, it is ridiculous. It is insanely ridiculous.
Doors and cameras, and once that power ends, the doors will have to reset their power after 45 seconds. Springtrap can use the doors no matter what power level they are on. So, with this, for the first time ever, survivors and the killer will be able to take advantage of map mobility that this power gives, but with a price. You can instantly travel on the opposite side, but if Springtrap is there... Hello? Oh my god, what the f was that? Let's talk about the perks now. And honestly, outside of one, they are mostly disappointing. The first perk, with the coolest name, is Help Wanted, which is reusing...
I will say though, I like this perk to a degree, because I was a fan of machine learning, and then they of course nerfed that too, because why wouldn't they? But I will say though, I did enjoy machine learning for when it, you know, back when it was good, but you know, well, it's still good, but it was a lot nicer before. I used to like the original, but fine, it's whatever. Everything we enjoy always gets changed in this game on the killer side. So the anyway, I'm kidding. The main point I'm trying to make here is I kind of like the perk. It was basically, it's like you're getting save the best for last for about a full minute. Like you get like an extra bonus 25%, I think. And mind you, like each stack of save the best is 4% now. So I wonder if like you can try to stack those together and make like a build around it, like machine learning and maybe help wanted, so you can compromise the same gen with the same effect, and then you'll be moving super fast, and then you'll swing really fast and stuff. I think that could be fun. I think that could be interesting. At least for me, I thought it would be cool, but you know, I know a lot of people probably wanted more impactful perks, so I get it.
The design of machine learning. When you kick a generator, you compromise it. Once that generator is repaired, you get 25% faster successful cooldown on basic attacks for 60 seconds, which is around 6 tokens of save the best for last. The effect is not bad at all. The problem is that the way you get this perk is so weird. Machine learning, which has the exact same activation condition, will give you 8% haste and undetectable for 1 minute. So for the exact same
okay, my mistake. I forgot the machine learning got a little bit of a buff, I think, right? Or did they get nerfed? I can't remember. I thought it was 10%. Did they change it to 8? Damn, dude. What the hell? I've been under a rock, I guess, with this type of stuff.
condition, you basically get a worse effect. When stacked, it can be funny, but it is so situational that they just don't see the point of running this perk outside of very niche situations.
True.
And especially considering the fact that Springtrap has a ranged attack, so this perk doesn't even combine well with him. Phantom Fear is his second perk, and in my opinion, the most interesting perk he has, and the one that a lot...
I think this perk kind of sucks. Only because that cooldown is super long. Like, what the heck is that? 60 seconds? Like, 60-second cooldown, bro? Like, 60 seconds? Like, that's a long time for, like, just only one single scream and aura for 2 seconds. Like, at least make it, like, 3 or 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, 5 seconds, I would have said, would have made it, like, would have been the best way to do that, right? 5 or more, I would have been like, okay, at least a full minute recharge makes sense. 2 seconds? Like, come on now, bro. 2 seconds? Come on. You couldn't have gave it 3 or more, bro. Come on. I'm just saying. I just don't think... I just feel like they're so afraid to give us good things on here. I don't know why.
A lot of casuals will enjoy so much. This is reverse scene partner. So anytime a survivor looks at you, they scream, revealing their location. Why I say this is insane is because in low MMR, one of the most common reasons for killer players finding this game hard is the fact that many survivors stealth around the map. With this perk, you—
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yo, that's actually really smart. I didn't even think about that concept. The fact that you can make it so that the low levels are going to be able to gain something from this, I will say is pretty good. I will say that much. That I can say, hey, that's a good bonus. It's a good benefit, especially with a lot of new players coming in. Hopefully it would help them out a lot.
You will automatically reveal their location as long as they don't have a perk that prevents them from screaming. And it's insane. The best part is that the counterplay is also hard because it requires you to not look at the killer once you know the perk is on, or force it so it enters a cooldown. I love how this perk has various types of counterplay and how useful it is for casual players. If you are new at the game, this perk is going to be amazing for you. But even if you are experienced, this perk can help you reveal the location of the survivor in the endgame. Talking about endgame, let's talk about the last perk in this video, and in my opinion the most disappointing, and that is Haywire.
Min Skull does find it a bit disappointing. I thought it was a little bit interesting. Only because we can basically make a build now around the gate a little bit, where you can put Remember Me, maybe No Way Out as well. Like, I think that you can try to maybe combine a couple of different perks. Like, maybe you can put on Remember Me, No Way Out, Haywire. I think that could be interesting. You know what I mean? I think when you combine the different perks in that kind of way, it will be so that it's difficult for them to open the gate because it'll be blocked, and then on top of that they try to open it again and it takes really long, and then if they get off of it for some reason, then it'll regress. So that's kind of cool. I mean, you know, and I do wish that this was base kit instead of it being a perk, but you know, fine. I think that it could work pretty well on Freddy, who already focuses pretty hard on the end games with a couple of add-ons and a couple of his perks, so I think it could be pretty good. And I wouldn't say it's completely disappointing. I do wish that it was like I do wish that it didn't say like at least 50% progress. I wish it just said with any progress, regress at a rate of 50% of gate opening speed, like just to make it better. You know what I mean? Because it kind of sucks. But it does at least give you something. But yeah, like I wouldn't say it's completely terrible, but yeah, like it's just a bit unfortunate that it couldn't have been better. But you know, like I've said before, it just seems like they just really do not want to give the killers much, which I don't know why. Like I really don't. You know, they've been nerfing killer back to back lately, so I don't understand. They don't throw us a bone, you know?
A perk that would have been my worst for the endgame category. This perk activates once our exit gate has over 50% progress, and it will revert the progress for 50% after a survivor is not touching it gradually. The problem of this perk is that I think this mechanic should have been base kit, so seeing it as something you have to use a perk slot for is very sad. You play with one perk less for the entire match in order to maybe interrupt a survivor when they open an exit gate and revert the progress. Any other endgame perk is much better, like Remember Me or No Way Out, as they basically guarantee extra time. If this perk had another effect on it, then maybe it would be decent, but right now, its only purpose is for DVD content creators to make a new endgame build. In my opinion, if they wanted to do a decent endgame perk, my suggestion would be to make this a perk that requires both doors to be open in order for the exit gates to be open for survivors to leave. So this way, you have to open one of the switches and then you have to go to the other door in order to open the second one, and then the first one will also open. I think that would be actually something that people will use. My other suggestion is to make a new Blood Warden style of perk to increase the oh shit moments in the endgame. With Haywire, if a survivor opens the exit switch in one of the doors, then the other door will open. So that way, they have to go all the way to the other door in order to leave. Imagine being at 99% of the door only to find out that, shit, it's the other door that opened.
I like that Minskull's coming up with some very creative ideas as to what we could have had, and I do like his ideas. I do like that those ideas are much more interesting, and I do think that I do agree it should have been base kit. And I just any way to just make the perks just a little bit better, just to make the end game just a little bit better would really help us out, especially with the current meta, the current stuff that we're dealing with nowadays, with the just insane gen speed, just instantaneous matches, just difficult games, like, you know, just at any level of play. It's just like, at a certain point you're just, you know, just throw us a bone behavior. Like, we're looking for something, dude.
That would be much more interesting than this perk design. Of course, the erratic flashing effect of this perk will be kept in order to allow survivors to know that this perk is in play. Now let's talk about the add-ons for the animatronic, and they are actually really cool and unique. I would go as far as to say that he has some of the most unique add-ons in the game, as they completely change the way the killer is played. The brown add-ons are the standard, as there isn't much to.
Yeah, I did see some of the add-ons. I thought they were interesting, but not too crazy. I do think that a couple of the browns are pretty decent. Not too crazy, of course, just decent. You know, pretty, and as Minskull described it, pretty standard. I can't really recall like every single effect it had, but I do know that there were a couple standouts in the more was it the green or the blue category? I can't remember which.
To talk about. However, the add-on that shows you the trajectory of the hatchet was quite useful in order to understand how the axe works like, and it helps you set up nasty shots and learn the muscle memory you need in order to get insane hits. The green add-ons are also okayish. I don't think there are any of them that stand out. But for the blue add-ons, those are crazy. My personal favorite is Foxy's hook, which makes it—
I agree, I like this one too. I like this one too. The Foxy's hook, like that I like that quite a bit. In combination with other stuff, like there's other builds you can kind of work around. There's a couple of interesting add-ons, and I do think that given time I probably would have made Springtrap, I think, like actually, because it does fit a lot of things that I would want in a killer choice. Now, as we probably have spoken about in different videos, you know, the queue times are probably going to be disgusting, and we're just going to see how that goes in the future when Springtrap does release. But, you know, either way, we'll just find out.
So that anyone that touches the area of your axe will get a 10% haste bonus. And yes, this means survivors too. So this add-on completely changes the way the power works, as now you can intentionally miss the hatchet in order to get a speed boost and loop survivors with it. And of course, this stacks with haste from other perks. However, it's not that easy, because just like the clown's yellow bottles, if survivors touch it, which you will know thanks to the killer instinct, they will get the speed boost too, giving them much more distance. Another add-on that stands out is the Bonnie guitar, which tells you how much progress the generators have when you use the doors. It's a blue add-on.
I personally didn't really care for the Bonnie's guitar strings add-on personally. I just thought it was just kind of mid. Like, honestly, I think that there's other add-ons that are going to be more impactful and more useful and honestly more interesting. But for right now, I will still say most of the add-ons are pretty good. I like the way that it makes the character feel very flexible.
Yet it gives you an insane amount of information, like the complete Gen Info perk build. Absolutely fantastic for the rarity it has, and I think it's going to be quite meta. Freddy's hat, which increases the weight of the axe, was an add-on that I was not a fan of personally. It feels a lot like Milk Carton on Unknown, an add-on that changes how the power works fundamentally, which
the heck? I was like looking at the footage, I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, what the hell? I mean, I think what it basically will do is make it so that you can maybe like land shots from up close and maybe get grabs, but I think you would have to completely shift the way you play for it to work that way, but or something. But like I'm like it doesn't have any range. You basically are saying let's reduce the range and you're gonna make it fall faster. That's ultimately what the weight is for. And I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a Springtrap main out there probably that will be able to get some really good value out of it. But on first glance, I find it very hard to understand how to use it.
Messes up with muscle memory, and if you do get used to it, well, now you have one add-on slot less. And for the purples, there are some that are extremely unique. One of them I found out to be completely useless, which is the axed one that passes through doors. It's extremely situational to the point of being a complete meme. However, my favorite add-on by far is the add-on that increases the haste speed of both the killer and the survivor by 20% once the survivor gets hit with the fire axe. This makes Springtrap to be the fastest chaser in the entire game, along with the survivor. You can absolutely zoom around the map with this add-on, and it completely changes the dynamic of the chase. You can even go after another survivor with a 20% haste, and they cannot do anything about it since you go so fast.
I like that add-on quite a bit. I like the idea that 20% can really give you a lot, and I think it can really add a lot of gameplay. I think that it'll be very interesting in chase because of the fact that if both people are moving at that same speed, chances are the survivor will most likely try to check spot. Like they most likely will try to stop, and then that's when you'll get your advantage because you're gonna continue moving. As well. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be flying through, you're going to try to stop them. And they're like survivors are at the strongest when they aren't moving in a way. Like when they hold the check spot, that gives them as like the craziest advantage. So any time that they stop will give you free distance because that 20% and they're moving from 0 to that 20%, that could guarantee you that hit. It's very hard to explain for maybe more average people or you guys maybe that are finding it a little bit hard to understand, or maybe just on first glance are like, oh, this add-on's ass, but like you really have to, you have to think about the game a little bit more in depth, and I can understand that it's a little bit hard to kind of do that if you don't really play the game as consistently or whatever have you, but believe you me, it'll be a very interesting add-on, and it will probably guarantee you a lot of downs because of that fact.
And of course, it can be stacked with other haste perks. I truly hope that this add-on is unchanged, because it is genuinely one of the most fun add-ons that Behavior has ever designed. The iridescent ones are both classics. One makes the fire axe have the tear radius when you throw it, the other will block everything nearby when you exit a door, which is not that good personally.
I like those. I like both of those. Those are very good too. I feel like you can really create different builds around it, and it would be very unique and very interesting. I like them. I like all the add-ons pretty much. They're all unique. They're all interesting. They're all at least have a place in a build. And this is one of the most best designed killers we've gotten in a very long time.
However, I am very satisfied with Springtrap's add-on variety, especially when compared to Kaneki's boring add-on design. So, is he fun and worth the wait? In my personal opinion,
so with that being said, that is my thoughts on Springtrap, and shout out to Minskull for having this video that really breaks down in detail as to what the killer is about, what he can do, stuff like that, and it really helped me out because I obviously didn't have access to I didn't have a chance to really have access to the PTB or anything, so I wasn't able to do any testing myself. But at least if I'm able to see a video kind of talking about it, I can at least give my input on it. And I like what I'm seeing. I like the ideas. I like the killer. I think he'd be very fun. And hopefully they don't nerf him too hard. Hopefully he'll be able to shine, because I know that with any killer in this game, they have to nerf them. It's just inevitable for some reason. And we just have to see. We just have to see what happens in the future. I'll see if I actually do end up playing this killer more often. Then maybe just release, who knows. We might have to wait though, like some of us may have to wait because the queue times are going to be as long as they are when you first get into the playing Springtrap and stuff like that, because of those, it's a killer only chapter, so it's going to be very, very difficult. And a lot of us that are killer mains only, like killer only players are going to have to probably wait a while to get into games, and that's going to be interesting. But with that being said, check out the original video. It'll be linked in the description. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. What do you think of Springtrap? Support with the links in the description. We have links there to support the channel as well. And you could follow on Twitch, watch and play Killer Live. I'll see you guys in the next one.